Hey everybody, thanks for checking in for our Wednesday night Bible study. We're still working through the Sermon on the Mount, and man, we're getting close to being finished. We're closer to being finished with studying through the Sermon on the Mount verse by verse than you are closer to going back to school at this point. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying healthy. We've missed being able to do the things we had planned on doing this summer, but we're trying to make the most of it. We've still got some work projects coming up as part of our youth summer serve. If you'd like to be a part of it, I'll be getting out details and letting you know when we're going to be doing what. I hope you can maybe join us. But today, we're going through a section in Matthew chapter 7. So if you have your Bible, grab it. We're going to start in verse 21 and just do a few verses. But this was actually one of the first set of verses I ever preached on when I started in ministry. And so it's always been one of my favorite passages, but it's also one of the most stern warnings that you can find in Scripture. So let's start reading this together. We're going to look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Here we go. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evil doers. Y'all, this is one of the most scary scriptures that you can find if you think about it in terms of people who live this life thinking that they're a follower of Christ only to deceive themselves. Y'all, the easiest person for you to lie to is yourself. You can convince yourself of things that are absolutely not true about yourself. The most serious thing you can do this about is about your relationship with Christ. Are you really a follower of Christ? Do you really have Him living in your heart? Let's break the scripture down and let's talk about the illustration that Jesus is giving. Okay, so first of all, he's saying that then some people will say to me on that day. What is that a reference to? That's a reference to the day when this life is over and we stand before God and we have to give an account for all that we've done. Jesus is saying that there will be a day when you stand before God when this life is over, and there will actually be people who say, Lord, Lord, and call out to God, and God will say, and Jesus is warning them that only the people who did the will of God will actually enter into heaven. Now, their response is, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name cast out demons and perform miracles? Okay, so for somebody to be able to claim that was somebody who was living a life, in church, who was trying to do all these things in God's work. I've never cast out a demon. I've never given a prophecy in that kind of a sense. I've never performed a miracle in Christ's behalf, not a physical healing or anything crazy like that. And these people are saying, didn't we do all these things in your name? And Jesus says that God's going to look at him and say, depart from me, I never knew you. Now, that's somebody who's convinced themselves, even into the point of death, that they were living for God, but they really weren't. That caused us to have to really do some self-analysis about what are our motives for what we do. You see, you can serve God through going on mission trips or helping out with Vacation Bible School, and you can do that through your whole life. Some of you may go off to college and move back to Columbiana, and if you do, we'd love to have you as members of our church. But I would really and truthfully be so sad that if you just came back and you did all these things, but your heart was never really given to Christ, and you were only doing those things because you felt like you were supposed to, or out of a sense of duty. Do we have a duty to do these kind of works, these good deeds? Absolutely. But our motivation should never just be, I'm doing this because I feel like I have to. Our motivation should be out of gratefulness because God has come into my life. He has saved me, and I want to glorify Him and lift His name up and do all the things that I can do to help spread His kingdom, for His name to be grown. So it's entirely possible for you to be busy in the Christian works that we do and not have Christ in your heart. It's really dangerous for you as you grow up through the student ministry. And I know that we have students who go on mission trips to migrant camp or go off even with Melody or with us on a guy's mission trip who do mission work, but they don't really have Christ in their hearts. And so if you've ever been on a mission trip and you really truthfully didn't really understand why you were doing what you were doing, and maybe you didn't really believe the things you were teaching, even if you were teaching like a Vacation Bible School, then maybe there is cause for concern for you to do some self-analysis. I want to give you a suggestion. The book of 1 John John really gives us a lot of questions that we can look at and ask ourselves to know if we are truly saved, if we are truly a child of God. Without a shadow of a doubt, does Jesus Christ live in our hearts? So I want to throw out some homework for you this week. Our lesson this week's a little bit shorter, but it's because I want you to take a few minutes to do something. I want you to read through the book of 1 John. There's only 5 chapters. There's not a whole lot to it. But read through it with the mindset of asking yourself, am I really following Christ? Or am I just doing these things to check off a list, just doing these things because I feel like I'm supposed to? Or am I doing these things because I know that Christ has changed me on the inside? Because it would be terrible for me if I knew that you came through our student ministry and you were never really challenged to ask yourself the question, do I really believe the stuff we talk about? Am I really a follower of Christ? I would have failed as your student pastor if I don't at least at some point get you to ask yourself that question. So I want you to read through 1 John, okay? We'll be back next Wednesday night. We're actually almost done. We will finish up with the last section of Jesus' teaching next Wednesday, and then we'll probably have like a recap the following Wednesday, and then summer's officially going to kind of be over as we move into August and we kind of figure out when they're going to be starting school back and what it's going to look like and when we can come back together as a student ministry. I can't wait to find that out myself. I miss you guys. I love you guys. I hope that you have an awesome week this week. Take care. We'll see you soon.